the Lewisboro Ledger, the Monroe Courier, the Eastern Courier, the Trumbull Times, Fairfield Sun, Shelton Herald, the Stratford Star, the Milford Mirror, and the Valley Gazette.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.
This is your coffee break on HANradio.com.
It's Friday, May 22nd, and the road trip continues for HANradio.com and the HAN Network. We are now live behind Norwalk City Hall. John, we're on a field.
Do nomads take coffee breaks?
I guess so.
I'm on a field.
We are on, known commonly as City Hall Field, also formerly as Malmquist Field, right behind Norwalk City Hall, where Rob Adams will have the call later today when, and I'll let Rob talk about it more later, but you get what you want. Last day of the regular season, a game for first place, Darien versus Norwalk. Yeah. But till then, we'll have coffee break, behind the news, and then an afternoon edition of The Drive with Denise.
Right, yeah, looking forward to that. There's no beer here, but we had plenty of that yesterday at 2.
Yeah, it's an adjustment.
All right, well, John, anything going on right now on the roads?
Literally just this second, news of delays on 95 North at exit 42 in West Haven. Earlier road work in North Haven on 91 North at exit 12 has cleared. You have road work in, bear with me a second, that was the cleared one. Some delays in Norwalk on the Merritt Parkway. Road work in Bridgeport. Route 8 North at exit 2, that's Lafayette Square. That is right off of I-95 as soon as you come off of the corkscrew. Most of your earlier stuff has been cleared. It's kicking off the big weekend, so be prepared for traffic. Although I can say it was lighter than normal.
Oh my goodness.
Coming in today.
Yes, it was nice getting here to Norwalk all the way from Stratford, so it wasn't bad at all.
Now, we're a little chilly out here.
Yes,
I
it's windy.
admit to underdressing. Very breezy today, very dry. Slight chance of showers after 3, but partly sunny with a high near 73. Gradual clearing tonight. 43 is the low. Memorial Day weekend. That's
tonight.
cold.
Ugh.
Tomorrow, sunny and 66. Sunny and 75 on Sunday. Monday, Memorial Day. Chance of showers and thunderstorms afternoon. Otherwise, mostly cloudy. High near 73. The chance of precipitation, 30%. Right now, sunny and 65 here at our Norwalk studio in the field. 67 in Monroe. 64 in Fairfield.
Thanks, John. Well, getting to some of the news this morning, officials are announcing federal charges in connection with a drug overdose case at Wesleyan University in Middletown. There is a news conference happening with U.S. Attorney Deirdre M. Daley going on as we speak. A dozen students were sickened in February by what Middletown police called a bad batch of Molly. 2 of the patients were critical. Police said Molly is a form of pure ecstasy, and it was supplied at an on-campus party. 5 students were arrested in connection with the case. 2 of them were expelled, with the cases against the other 3 still being reviewed, according to school officials. And as we said, that news conference is happening now, so we'll bring you more information on that as it develops. John, what else is going on?
Kate, garbage, broken beer bottles, fights, and a parking nightmare at a state park in Enfield are just some of the reasons the state is taking action. Officials said drinking at Scantic River State Park, which stretches from Enfield into Somers and Windsor Locks, has been a real problem. They say too many people are cramming into the tiny parking lot, vying for spots by the river, and leaving their trash behind. As of Thursday, they've banned alcohol at the park for 90 days. That means it's in effect for most of the summer, starting with this holiday weekend. While the park's popular for its fishing, kayaking, and walking trails, officials said it's becoming less popular because of what's being left behind and what they're calling out-of-control crowds. One Enfield resident said it stops them from going for walks there. There's just too much broken glass down there. Another Enfield resident called for people to take responsibility. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection said it received complaints of people getting drunk and fighting at the park. DEEP plans to have officers stationed there to enforce the alcohol ban, which, again, goes into effect this weekend, and the DEEP is working with Enfield Police to address the parking issues at that park. Bad weekend for that to happen because they
definitely
get jammed
Yeah.
this weekend.
Well, Metro North Railroad will have extra trains operating this afternoon in advance of Memorial Day weekend. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority announced Wednesday that Metro North will have 9 extra getaway departures on the New Haven line from New York's Grand Central Terminal between 12:58 and 4 p.m. Some late afternoon peak trains will be canceled or combined due to anticipated reduced ridership. You can get a full list of that at thedarien.times.com. Trains will operate on a regular weekend schedule on Saturday and Sunday, while trains will operate on a Sunday schedule on Memorial Day. Coffee break time is 11:16.
Saudi Arabia is spending $1.9 billion for 10 helicopters from Stratford-based Sikorsky aircraft equipped with engines from the GE Aviation unit of Fairfield-based General Electric. The deal was approved by the U.S. State Department, subject to the approval of Congress. Saudi Arabia is buying Sikorsky MH-60R helicopters for use in maritime security, resupply, and search and rescue. United Technologies is exploring spinning off Sikorsky as an independent, publicly traded company.
Interesting. Thanks, John. Well, former Governor John G. Rowland will not have to report to prison next month, according to Hearst, Connecticut media. A federal judge on Thursday granted Rowland bond while he appeals his 30-month sentence for campaign fraud, which would be the disgraced Republican's second prison stint since resigning as governor in 2004 for accepting bribes from state contractors. Judge Janet Bond Arton, who presided over Rowland's 2014 trial in U.S. District Court in New Haven, wrote a 3-page motion that some of the legal arguments raised by the defense are fairly debatable, and that Rowland was not obligated to show that his conviction will be overturned during his appeal or in order for him to remain free. 57-year-old Rowland was scheduled to surrender on June 16th and report to federal prison in Otisville, New York. Ayrton previously granted Rowland's request to delay his surrender so he could attend his stepson's wedding this spring. The basis of Rowland's appeal is expected to be that prosecutors suppressed key evidence on the contract between Rowland and nursing home owner Brian Foley, which was reviewed by a lawyer. A spokesman for the Justice Department, which zeroed in on Rowland for his role as a shadow political operative during the failed 2012 congressional campaign of Republican Lisa Wilson Foley, declined to comment. Rowland was found guilty last September of campaign fraud, conspiracy, and obstruction of justice. Through a nursing home business owned by Wilson Foley's husband, Brian Foley, the couple funneled $35,000 in payments to Rowland. They did not want to be tainted by having Rowland on the campaign payroll, but admitted that he still had influence in the 5th Congressional District and Rowland's home city of Waterbury. Coffee break time is 11:18. John, anything changing out there on the roads?
No, you still have the delays in West Haven. That's on 95 north at exit 42. You have the road work in Bridgeport. That is on Route 8 north, just off of I-95, right by exit 2. That's Lafayette Square. Some delays in Milford, on 91. Or up 95 at exit 41. Some delays in Norwalk on the Merritt Parkway South at exit 40. And just give yourself extra time today. It was a nice trip in, but it's the beginning of the Memorial Day weekend. You know traffic is going to back up. Weather, I mean, it's beautiful. There's not a cloud in the sky here in Norwalk.
In the sun, it's amazing. It's just if you're in the shade, it's a bit chilly.
We're in the shade. It's a little bit breezy.
Yes, I know, an allergy as... Don Eng I chatted.
There you go. Slight chance of showers today, but they're saying partly sunny. I would call this totally sunny. High near 73, gradually clearing tonight. 43 for the low. Tomorrow, sunny and 66. Sunny and 75 on Sunday. For Monday, Memorial Day, chance of showers and thunderstorms afternoon. Otherwise, mostly high near 73, 30% chance of precipitation on Memorial Day. Right now, sunny, 65 degrees at our field in Norwalk, 67 in Monroe, 64 in Fairfield.
All right, John. Well, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with a look at this day in history. We're also going to talk about today's game that you guys are going to be covering. So that's coming up after this.
Your child has fallen and broken his arm. You need to see an orthopedist fast. Think Coastal Ortho Express in Norwalk. Don't wait hours in the ER. Save a trip and money by going straight to an orthopedic specialist at Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care in Norwalk. No appointment necessary. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care, 203-845-2070. Open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or call 203-845-2070. Fast.
The long winter is finally astern. Bait is invading the harbors, coves, and inlets. Stripers, fluke, and porgies are on the move. In the streams and lakes, trout, smallmouth, largemouth, and walleye have moved out of hibernation. At the dock shop, it's all systems go. And now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and their newest location at 609 Riverside Avenue in Westport. Bait, tackle, apparel, and of course, all the marine and nautical accessories that they're known for are ready for you at the dock shop. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Alliance. We are an industry leader in coordinating transportation for large events such as corporate road shows, conferences, and special events. Our team of experts understands the dynamics and logistics of high-pressure situations and complex arrangements, all within a rapidly changing environment. Since 1999, we have added charter jets, event management, and personal protection to our range of services. Mention this ad for $25 off your next round-trip reservation. Alliance and you. Together, we can achieve the extraordinary. 855-546-6996 or alliancelimo.com.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com.
It's 11:22 on your coffee break on HANradio.com and live streaming on the HAN network. That's HANradio.com/live stream. I'm Kate Czaplinski here with John Kovach, Rob Adams, and the rest of our HAN team. We're hanging out behind Norwalk City Hall in the field, getting ready for today's game later on, but we have some news shows up first. And right now, we are going to take a look back at this day in history. Rob, you're filling in for Don.
I am. This is a big honor, Kate, and I'm going to try to prove that I am worthy of this, but we will do our best. Now, I start right off the bat with some controversy, and I apologize for that. I'm going to try to deal with this as delicately as we can. In 1906, the Wright brothers received a patent for their flying machine. Now, as we in Connecticut all know, but those in Ohio don't know, and perhaps some of us from New York don't know, the Wrights might have been the second people to fly a powered aircraft. John, over to you.
Well, there's the argument that Gustav Whitehead flew years before them in Bridgeport and Fairfield. Jane's All the World's Aircraft, in their centennial issue, jumped full bore onto that theory. They've since hedged it a little bit, backed off a little bit. The Hartford Courant recently wrote an editorial basically telling anybody in Connecticut who believes that Connecticut was the birth of flight to just stop it. Mm-hmm. And everybody uses the same argument. There's no photos. Well, there's no photos of the Last Supper. There's no photos of the surrender of Cornwallis. So I guess those things didn't happen either.
Are there photos of William Wallace?
There are no photos of William Wallace.
Wait a minute. So that movie's not real? Like I said, I was going to cause controversy, and he's going to hit me.
You may as well.
Only having fun
Speaking of
with it.
controversy, this second item
Oh, this is a good.
incredible.
This is a good one too, folks. And I wish we could play some music for it. A scheduled dance to be headlined by Fats Domino at the Ritz Ballroom was canceled. Ain't that a shame? By the Bridgeport Police because, quote, rock and roll dances might be featured. The fears were magnified by a near riot at the nearby New Haven Arena. And would that be the same arena that eventually Jim Morrison caused trouble at? Yeah,
no,
that was
might
later
be.
on. I think that
I'm not
was
certain.
That would be a different building, I think.
am not certain.
I thought that
yeah, I
opened
think
later
you're
on.
right. I think it's a different building.
Anyway, 1967, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood premiered on PBS. Aimed at preschool-age children, Fred Rogers covered a broad range of topics over the years, and the series did not shy away from issues that other children's programming avoided. The series also dealt with death, competition, divorce, anger, and war. It ran until 2001, and indeed, it is a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Mr. Fisher's Neighborhood in early development here at HAN.
I want to see Mr. Fisher changing out of his shoes, putting the sweater on, not throwing shoes off camera. 1992, and it's funny that this comes up considering the week that we have just completed with the departure of David Letterman. On this date in 1992, Johnny Carson hosted The Tonight Show for the last time. He had been host for 30 years. Grab your golf club, John. Hi-yo! And that appears to be a very brief look at history. Coffee break time, 11:26.
Funny how those retirements always happens during May when it's sweeps week.
Sweeps week,
Just
the end of the
saying.
season, all that stuff.
So sports-wise, we have all you can ask for is late season games to count.
I mean, this is as good as you want, and as good as it gets. And that's the reason we are here at City Hall Field in Norwalk, right out behind City Hall, strangely enough, because it's 1 versus 2 in the FCAC to finish up the regular baseball season today at 4 o'clock. The Darien Blue Wave, who have had a great year. They did stumble, of course, against Staples last Friday right here on HAN Radio. We'll have them later today as they come to Norwalk to take on the Norwalk Bears. By the way, if the HAN Radio jinx is your thing, we also saw Norwalk play as bad as they played this year, and of all places, up in Cooperstown, where they lost to the crosstown Brian McMahon Senators 7-3 back in April 19th. So if you believe in jinxes, then we are your people.
So have either of these teams won on the Hersam Acorn Network?
Yes, they have, because the Darien Blue Wave went to New Canaan on Monday.
Yes.
And they beat New Canaan pretty soundly. So no matter what, Pete Tucci, Mitch Hoffman, Mike, they all dislike us. Mike Scott, they all dislike us.
Is what it is.
That's all right. No, I'm kidding. All the coaches have a good time with it. So we'll see them later today. But we've also got a lot of other stuff going on. You've got the lacrosse quarterfinals in the FCAC. Number 8 St. Joe's at number 1 Greenwich. You've got number 6 Staples against number 3 Darien. Number 7 Welton against number 2 New Canaan, and number 4 Ridgefield hosting number 5 Ludlow. Girls lacrosse, you've got number 8 Ward at number 1 Wilton, number 5 Ward at number 8 Ward at number 1 Darien. Let's try that again. Number 5 Wilton at number 4 Staples. Number 6 Ludlow takes on number 3 Greenwich, and number 7 Ridgefield at number 2 New Canaan. Girls tennis, it's the FCAC semifinals. Wilton takes on Ludlow while Darien plays Staples. From baseball, of course, we already told you about the reason we're here. Darien and Norwalk at 4. You've also got West Hill at Staples. New Canaan at Stamford. That game has some playoff potential there. The Black Knights sticking around. McMahon at Ridgefield. The Tigers are still trying to get into the state playoffs. Ward is at Trinity Catholic. Wilton home for Bassick. Trumbull and Greenwich, an interesting matchup there. And Central at St. Joe's. From softball, it's Greenwich at Trumbull, St. Joe's at Central, Ridgefield at McMahon, Norwalk at Darien, Trinity Catholic at Ward, Wilton at Bassick, and Stamford is at New Canaan. Lacrosse on the girls' side, you've got one game, Stamford at South Windsor. Tennis on the boys' side, Weston home for Wilton. Girls' tennis, Harding and Bassick at Central. And finally, volleyball, Bassick at Central and Greenwich at St. Joe's. So obviously a very busy day to wrap up the regular season in sports, John, for the spring season, certainly with baseball and softball, before we get deeper into the playoffs next week with everyone.
Looking forward to the playoffs. Interesting story in the Stamford Advocate by Scott Erickson.
Yeah.
Where Staples had only 10 healthy players when they woke up yesterday morning. 2 of them went to see the trainer. So with 8 players, they end up forfeiting to West Hill. Now, Staples already in the States. They're 10-10, 8-10 in the FCAC, Scott reports. But the forfeit win elevates West Hill to 15-5, 14-4, gets the Vikings a home game.
Oh,
in the
look at
playoffs.
that. And that's softball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So interesting there.
All right.
I haven't heard of a forfeit for that reason in some time.
Not off the top of my head. I can't think of one. So, well, there
Been
you
a
go.
while.
Certainly been a while, but this is going to be fun later today.
Can't
I'm
wait.
excited about this game. Of course, we're here for coffee break, then behind the news, then the drive with Denise later on, and after that we'll kind of reset the camera angles a little bit, and then I'll have the call for you of a terrific baseball game. At least we hope so. Darien taking on, of course, the Norwalk Bears right here at City Hall Field in Norwalk.
And you can watch that game streaming video, or if you're driving for Memorial Day, there are few things I enjoy more than baseball on the radio.
And that's the way we call it. We still call it like a baseball game on the radio. Now, if you're not driving, you do have the option to watch it on your smartphone or tablet. But please be a passenger in the vehicle if you're going to choose to do that. And so concludes my advice for the day. But it's what I'm all about.
It's good advice.
I try.
Coffee break time's 11:30.
All right. Thanks, John and Rob. Well, getting back to some news. A family dispute at St. Aloysius Church in New Canaan earlier this month resulted in a man facing charges of second-degree breach of peace and violating a protective order. Police said a divorced couple were arguing at the Catholic Church when 42-year-old Vito Luciano of 7 Foster Place in Pleasantville, New York, pushed his ex-wife once outside the church, according to New Canaan Police Sergeant Carol Ogrens. The ex-wife had an order of protection from previous incidents. He posted a bond of $75,000 and had a May 12th court date. John?
Story we discussed on Yankee Fisherman yesterday, and thanks again to Jim Turasek for spending the afternoon with us and Dottie Bateman for coming on as we did Yankee Fisherman live from Two Roads Brewing. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection yesterday announced that Charles Island in Milford and Duck Island in Westbrook closed to the public immediately through September 9th to prevent disturbances to nesting birds. Both of those islands have been designated by the DEEP as natural area preserves, primarily due to their importance as nesting habitats for some endangered birds, including snowy egrets, great egrets, which are threatened in Connecticut, glossy ibis, little blue herons, which are a special concern to the state. They have also been designated important bird areas by Audubon, Connecticut. DEEP throughout Connecticut is asking beachcombers, sunbathers, fishermen, and boaters along the shoreline to respect the fencing and yellow signs warning of piping plover and least turn nesting sites. The piping plover, a small sandy-colored shorebird about the size of a sparrow, is a threatened species under the Federal Endangered Species Act, as well as a state-threatened species in Connecticut. The small gull-like least tern, which nests in colonies in the same beach habitat as the piping plover, is also a state-threatened species.
Thanks, John. Well, as Connecticut's legislative session races towards its conclusion, one of the most discussed bills has seen significant changes. Senate Bill 1, introduced as a means to reform the state's tax system, was introduced with the intention of establishing a statewide mill rate for Connecticut's payment in lieu of taxes, also known as the pilot program. In its original form, the bill received harsh criticism from many in Darien who believed that the legislation would prey upon the town with very little to no advantages. Months later, Senate Bill 1 has a much different face, having undergone significant changes in the committee phase. The car tax portion has been modified to implement a statewide cap at 29.6 mils. The car tax mill rate would provide more than $80 million in tax relief across the state, particularly in cities like Hartford, where the mill rate is 74.29. Residents in more than 70 towns would benefit directly from the change. Municipalities over the cap would be held lossless, with the modified pilot aid and new revenue sales tax revenues being used to offset the amount lost in the car tax reform. There is a lot more on that story at DarienTimes.com.
Yeah, that was a rather in-depth story, Kate, on a subject that's always of discussion, particularly around here as they begin mowing the field behind us. in preparation for this
That'll help
afternoon's
my
game.
allergies.
This should be good.
And in reality, what they're mowing not only is grass, but dirt also. Anyway, go on.
Particularly here in Fairfield County, where it's not uncommon for an older beat-up car in Bridgeport to be assessed at a higher value than, say, a Mercedes in New Canaan.
Right.
And that's always a focus of debate down here. So, I don't know. I'm always concerned when the state says, well, we'll just hold on to the money for you and
Right.
get what's yours. It's coming. Don't worry about it.
All right, John. Well, it's 11:35 on your coffee break. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with a lot more news and more.
It's Lots of Characters, specializing in children's birthday parties with your child's favorite characters. When you want to party hardy, when you need to celebrate, call us. We won't be late. We help create lasting memories for you and your child on their special day. Call us at 203-590-1791 or visit our website at lotsofcharacters.org for more information and to see our party packages. Lots of Characters, 203-590-1791 or online at lotsofcharacters.org.
Located in the heart of picturesque downtown Ridgefield at 13 Governor Street, Colby's is the area's premier retailer for blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies, and is one of the select few Hunter Douglas Gallery dealers. A family-owned and operated company, Colby's experienced staff will work with you in choosing the best treatments for your home or office and offer free measuring and expert installation. Decorative fabrics including Schumacher, Durley, Tebow, and more. Or browse over 400 books in our wallpaper library from famous designers such as Stroheim, Schumacher, Ralph Lauren, Tebow, and York. Take advantage of our Fashion in Motion savings event with savings and rebates on Hunter Douglas shades with Power Rise technology. Colby's of Ridgefield. We are committed to your complete satisfaction. 203-438-8531.
The long winter is finally astern. Bait is invading the harbors, coves, and inlets. Stripers, fluke, and porgies are on the move. In the streams and lakes, trout, smallmouth, largemouth, and walleye have moved out of hibernation. At the dock shop, it's all systems go. And now in 2 locations, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, and their newest location at 609 Riverside Avenue in Westport. Bait, tackle, apparel, and of course, all the marine and nautical accessories that they're known for are ready for you at the dock shop. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport. Visit us at dockshop.com.
Now you can keep up with what's happening in Darien with the convenience of the Darien Times Online. Your choice. Print or digital subscription for just $45 a year. Or get the print and digital bundle for just $10 more, $55 a year. To subscribe to the Darien Times, go to hersamsecure.com/CIRC or call the circulation department at 203-894-3388. The Darien Times, now in print and online. Don't miss a single issue. Subscribe today.
You're listening to Hersam Acorn Radio.
And we're back. It's 11:39 on your coffee break on HANradio.com and streaming on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with John Kovach, Rob Adams, and the rest of our team. We're here today out on the field behind Norwalk City Hall right now, just setting things up and doing some of our news shows before today's game.
We're here with Coffee Break now. We'll be with you with Behind the News immediately following. Right after that, the Drive with Denise in an afternoon slot. And then at 4 o'clock, first pitch on the game that should decide who's in first place in the FCAC baseball. Although we did just get news, and I'm trying to find more on it.
Yeah, this is interesting.
That could affect the seedings. Rob, you want to take the sports angle of that?
Well, basically, St. Joe's and Central are postponed for their senior day game for St. Joe's has been postponed. And apparently it's due to a power issue at St. Joseph High School. Now, there is I guess there's a little bit of playoff implications in terms of getting better seeding for the cadets in the state. They're not in the FCAC. In fact, I was just hearing from our own Jake Zimmer, who actually plays for the St. Joe's team. They have some scrimmages coming up next week, in fact, to stay fresh to get ready for the states. But as I said, they're not in the FCAC itself.
And I'm unable here to get, I'm trying to get, and we'll just move on and keep looking for that information on the power failure in Bridgeport. But take a look at traffic, because we also have breaking traffic news in Stratford. An accident on 95 South, about a mile past exit 34. That's Route 1, Bridgeport Avenue. So that's really pretty much the Bridgeport-Stratford line, if I'm not mistaken, Kate.
Yes.
We still have delays in West Haven going the other direction, 95 north at exit 42. Still road work in Bridgeport, exit 2 on Route 8 north. That's Lafayette Square, right off of 95. That's 27A. You get off the Corkscrew. So there's a very good chance that's backing up onto I-95 given the holiday traffic. We'll keep an eye on the roads for you as Coffee Break continues. Beautiful day out here. A little windy. Allergies a little bit of a challenge. Little cooler than we've been used to on most Memorial Days. Right now it's 65 here. Slight chance of showers today after 3. I'm just now for the first time seeing a few clouds in the sky. Otherwise, it's been a dusty blue all morning long. But you can see right now
like
the
that,
edge of
dusty
a front.
blue.
Like that?
Yeah, nice.
So they're calling it partly sunny. I would call it sunny.
Oh, it's sunny. Yeah. Say there's a smattering of a few little puffy white clouds.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. Is that the edge of a front moving in is what I'm trying to
Ooh.
figure out as we look out above Norwalk City Hall. Supposed to get up to 73 today, clear tonight, down to 43. That's a little closer to winter temperatures than I care to experience.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow, sunny and 70, sunny and 66 tomorrow, sunny and 75 on Sunday. I've got more information here thanks to Josh Fisher. This crash on 95 that we just told you about. This might be even a second crash. This one, the DOT reported a crash near exit 34, Bridgeport Avenue. All right, that's, you know what, that's actually Milford.
Right, exit
it's right
34
at the
is
line.
Milford, yeah.
And this northbound, there's a crash northbound now we're hearing about. 95 north near exit 33. That's the far side of the Moses Wheeler Bridge, the eastern side, right in Milford. So we'll be following that and trying to figure out right now just where these crashes are, because this one, the DOT reported is 95 south of 34.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be the area of 33. So that would be Milford.
Right.
So maybe that is the same, but it's going the opposite direction according to this.
Interesting. So maybe there's 2 accidents happening.
We'll try to
now.
figure out if there's
That's gonna
2
be a
accidents
mess.
there or not. But I can't say it any better than that.
All
Kate,
right.
what else is
Thanks,
in the news?
John. Well, the family members of those who lost loved ones in the Vietnam War are having their voices heard now thanks to the Vietnam Gold Star Family's 50th Commemoration Project, a new educational exhibit that will make its debut at the Trumbull Library today. Thanks to a grant from the Trumbull Rotary Club. It will be on display for the next month there, and then the exhibit will travel across the state, including stops at schools, libraries, and a special 2-day event at the Air National Guard Base in East Granby in July. The Gold Star concept dates back to World War I, when families would place a gold star in their windows to honor those who had died in combat. The project to honor Gold Star families from the Vietnam era started as an assignment in Professor Mary Collins' nonfiction workshop class at Central Connecticut State University, students interviewed family members and transformed these transcripts into powerful first-person essays. These co-authored stories shed light, often for the first time, on what our neighbors endured at the time and in the 50 years since the war. The project is a collaborative effort between Central Connecticut Nonfiction Writing Seminar and the Veterans History Project. There's a exhibit at TrumbullTimes.com, but if you can get there in the next month or see it while it's on the road, it sounds really powerful.
It does. I'd love to read some of those stories, heartbreaking though they may be, because it is part of American history,
right.
And it's what Memorial Day is
right.
about.
And the Vietnam War, a lot of those families couldn't freely, talk about their feelings at the time because there was such backlash against that war.
Yes, and it was unfortunate. Don Eng checking in from the Shelton office. He said it looks like traffic is backed up over the Moses Wheeler Bridge. So this is a situation. It's going to be quite a mess in the Stratford-Milford area this afternoon.
Yikes.
11:45 on your coffee break. Rob, you want to talk about a little sports and talk about the game we've got this afternoon?
Well, I'm still confused about this situation down in Bridgeport as well with Central and what's going on there with the power outage, that they can't get into school and all that. And I don't know. I guess I'm confused as to you get your glove, you get your bat, play ball.
Well, if they can't get uniforms or
play ball. Let's go.
There you go.
Throw a T-shirt on. Let's go. Make it up as we go. Anyway,
I'm okay with that.
They're going to, in all seriousness, they're going to reschedule that game for, I believe it's Tuesday at 4 now. And it means, here's what it means to Central. Central still has a final game to play, and their athletes care. For St. Joe's, they need, another win gets them a better standing in the seedings of the CIAC playoffs. Anyway, we are here at City Hall today in Norwalk, of course, because we've got a terrific baseball game to finish the FCIAC season, at least from this perspective, as Darien meets Norwalk. The winner will be the top seed going into next week, and the loser likely the number 2 going into next week's seedings. Quarterfinals are next Tuesday at 4, in fact, and hopefully by the end of our game here today, by the end of our broadcast, by the time we go off the air, we will hopefully, as I say that too many times, try to tell you what game we'll be covering on Tuesday, and like I said, in all likelihood it'll be Tuesday at 4. The game that I still have in my mind, if it comes to be, is that 4-5 game, which could be Wilton and Staples. I think that's a really good matchup, and again, and we've explained this before on HAN Radio, it's also a comfortable setup for us. Both sites work pretty well for what we try to do, so I'm hoping that'll be a 4-5 game next week, but we'll see. We'll see exactly what we hitch our wagon to. Then on Wednesday, and that's Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we go to the ballpark at Harbor Yard for both semifinal games, one at 5, one at 7:30. We've got the softball championship on Thursday, and then the baseball championship Friday at 7:30, and that is as of right now, unless Darien is involved, and Darien's prom is next Friday, so that would be a factor in whether or not they play that game at 7:30 next Friday. So that's pretty much all we've got from around the world of sports today, because you've got all the other things, kind of wrapping up, lacrosse, girls lacrosse. You've got some quarterfinal stuff going on. So, it's a busy day for sure, and I'm excited for 4 o'clock today for first pitch.
Busy day, and then at higher levels, a busy weekend. And Steve Buono just posting on the Darien Times site, there are 2 Darien residents playing for Maryland in the Division I lacrosse Final Four.
Nice.
This weekend, that in Philadelphia. That Eric Parnon, he is a senior, so this is his last shot for the Terrapins at the title. And Henry West, a junior. And it started to get more coverage. ESPN started, maybe, 10 years ago?
Yeah,
to
about
do
10
the
years
lacrosse
ago. Yeah.
Final Four, and I got to say, I'm glad this tent is anchored down. Just to give you a little insight there. You've gotten a lot more coverage of the final. That's really become an event that I'd like to go see.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, sounds like a good time, and we've enjoyed being around lacrosse anyway. We've got more lacrosse maybe coming up.
Very cool.
That's what we call a tease in the broadcasting business,
there
ladies
you go.
and gentlemen.
All right, guys. Well, let's take another break. We come back, we'll talk more news, talk about some Memorial Day events coming up, and we'll do that right after this.
Healthy, confident smiles begin at Stratford Orthodontics. Conveniently located on Main Street, we are Stratford's hometown orthodontist. We offer the latest in orthodontic technology, including Damon braces and Invisalign. We always accept new patients. Call today to schedule a complimentary consultation. 203-375-8332. Stratford Orthodontics, 2499 Main Street, Stratford. 203-375-8332. And online at stratfordsmile.com.
Did you know that taking dance lessons is a great date night idea? Arthur Murray Grand Ballroom of Greenwich is a fabulous place to learn to dance and meet new people. Located at 6 Lewis Street, our studio is staffed with professional instructors ready to teach you salsa, waltz, rumba, hustle, tango. There's a dance for every season. And we are rated #1 on the knot.com. We are the wedding dance specialists. Take advantage of our new student offer, only $49. Call 203-769-1800. Visit us online at arthurmurraygreenwich.com.
It's easy to advertise on hanradio.com. Reach 263,000 listeners each month with our sports programming and talk programming. Call Mary Ann Hersam at 203-417-5199.
Hersam Acorn and hanradio.com.
11:50 on your coffee break on hanradio.com and streaming on the HAN network and
Ladies
HAN
and gentlemen,
Radio.
that's what we call a break shorter than we expected. That break was a little bit longer yesterday.
Yep.
And we're all out trying to sun ourselves and warm up
it's a
for a
little
moment.
chilly.
It is a chilly day here.
It's brisk. I'd like to know exactly what it is under this tent. We're in the shade off to the side of the field, and we want to stay out there. They have this old-school cinder track that surrounds the field here, and this has been their home field for decades.
Has it really?
I think so, yeah.
You know, it's so cool to have that kind of history. And I don't know how long they've played here, but I was reading when we were at Mead Park on Monday, I didn't realize they have been playing baseball there since, I believe, 1928. On that site.
Yeah, it was on that plaque.
Yeah, that's it. That's where I read it. It's on the plaque that basically that same baseball field has been the site of New Canaan baseball since 1928. That's a cool fact.
It's a very cool fact, and to just know the history of that site, which was a cranberry bog,
Right.
which then fell into neglect and became the dumping ground.
Right. Yep. So it's very cool.
And this site, this has been City Hall for years. Obviously, it's expanded quite a bit since I was spending a lot of time down here. When I worked in Norwalk, I did spend a lot of time here.
And that was the high school at one time.
Yes, it was.
So that's kind of cool.
It's a huge
history.
building.
Yeah, that's kind of cool history to have as well. What's going on with you guys on Behind the News today?
Well, we are going to talk about some of the top stories this week, as well as play an interview, John, that you and Josh did on Wednesday with Christian Marr of Griffin Hospital, which was a fun one, and helping to promote a great event. And you know what, Rob? Maybe we'll drag you on for a bit.
Happy
Talk
to.
about, some of our remotes lately, a lot of the shift to video. So that's what we're going to be doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'll be a good one today.
Yeah. Well, getting back to some of the news, interesting story from the Ridgefield Press. Ken Fitzpatrick of Ridgefield knows it will take more than money to retrieve his brother Bill Fitzpatrick's body from the mountainous jungle of Cameroon, Africa, where he was killed in a plane crash last June. It will take a lot of connections, according to Fitzpatrick. He told the press that the whole reason for the family's press outreach is to get someone to read about this, and by a stroke of luck, they hope someone can help or give advice and counsel and help them reach the remains, Ken said, referring to how his brother still sits in the cockpit of a downed Cessna 172 plane he was flying to an airbase from war-torn Nigeria. The thought of his young brother's body left in his plane in the jungle gives Ken Fitzpatrick the chills, he told the press. The family has a fundraising goal of $11,000, which is very nearly met. It is based on estimates the State Department gave Bill Fitzpatrick's widow. However, the red tape complications involved in getting cooperation from the government of Cameroon to release the body to U.S. diplomats has frayed the family's nerves. Ken said he has contacted dozens, if not hundreds, of military officials, celebrities, and political figures, including Bill Clinton and daughter Chelsea Clinton, to get help with influencing the Cameroon government to cooperate in retrieving the body. He said he was able to verify through his late brother's employer, African Parks, a nonprofit group that saves wildlife from poachers, that they had representatives at the crash site and know the remains are safe on the plane. He said, "We have a U.S. citizen. He's still sitting in the plane. Can someone please help him out of there out of respect for him?" And those who do want to help can email Ken at kenspy@aol.com. There is also a website set up that is findbillfitzpatrick.com. Coffee break time is 11:55.
That is a troubling story. You would think it would not be that difficult.
That difficult to get the remains of your loved one. It's terrible.
That's just troubling. I cannot imagine what that family is going through. Kate, 11:55. Just looking back on the roads, we have additional delays now as the getaway begins to heat up here. Greenwich delays 95 north at exit 5. That's US 1, the post road. Bridgeport, we have delays on 95 north at exit 30. You have the accident, possibly more than one, in that area. Milford, delays 95 south at exit 34. So both directions there near the Moses Wheeler Bridge are backed up, and that accident at the Stratford-Milford line that we're following.
All right, sorry. Josh Fisher's over here pretending he's an American Beauty or something. He's just watching the bag float.
One Luft balloon.
And unfortunately, we have to co-host a show with Josh Fisher in a few minutes.
Yeah.
Just kidding. We like him. But we are going to wrap up Coffee Break, John, and get ready for Behind the News, which is coming up right at noon. And then The Drive with Denise is going to have a special airtime today of 1 o'clock right after Behind the News. So looking forward to that.
Can't wait. Her topic's always uplifting, always make you think about how.
Hersam Acorn and HANradio.com. The leader in local news, sports, arts, and entertainment in southwestern Connecticut.